Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome back to another Coffee with the Rustic Girls.
Yeah.
I'm Katie, and this is my mom,
Patty.
We're a mother-daughter duo who love all things creative, intentional living, home decor. It's been a passion of ours for many years. So here we are, hoping to connect with other women and maybe inspire you to create your own beautiful spaces. So how's your week been?
Good.
It was a long pause.
All I had to pause and think for a minute.
Right. I know sometimes I'm like, I try to be intentional about how I answer, not just say it. And then it sounds like I had a terrible time. I'm like, no, I'm fine. I just had to think about it for a second.
Think about it. Yeah, no, it was a good week.
It's a beautiful autumn week. So we got out and we got a nice long walk in the other day and got to enjoy the trees. And there's tons of just autumn colors around us. So it's definitely all the vibes that I love. It's my favorite season.
Yeah. And lots of leaves. Definitely lots of leaves.
Mm-hmm.
If you're all about I was telling her the other day, it's like, well, one thing I will say is if you're all about the fallen leaves, this is like one of the places to be. Yeah, there's a lot of leaves.
Yeah. So this morning we were talking about kind of, thinking about what were we going to chat about this morning. And I think that one thing we owned a business, we've done flipping furniture and, markets and all the things. And when you're in that space, you encounter women all the time who are like, I can't do that. I'm not creative. I wish I was creative like that. And so that was something that really kind of became a passion of ours, was finding a way to encourage and inspire women that, we believe firmly, God made all of us creative. We all have the creative spark. It's one of our traits that he gave all of us. And it's just, I think it's so valuable. And I think it's so sad when people don't believe that they can be, or they don't know how they can be. So that's just, I think, kind of one thing we wanted to kind of dive into today. So do you kind of want me to go first, or do you want to just share some of your thoughts?
Just, I think even in that, helping people to find, I think some people are already doing creative things and they don't recognize it as that. I think it really stems from anything you're passionate about. You're pouring yourself into, that's being creative.
Oh, for sure. Because you think, you tend to think of creative as like people who do poetry or sing or, musical arts or
creative arts,
painting. Yeah. All the traditional. And although those are being creative, there's countless other outfits.
Even if you're just,
outlets.
And I can't believe that just came out of my mouth. Pull that back out. Because it's not a just. Even if you are a homemaker, you stay home with your family, you're raising your kids, even if you don't have kids, you're just keeping your home. Yeah. You pouring into your home is a creative outlet as well. Anything you do, whether it be your cooking, whether it be, don't think just because I'm just this,
right.
That,
you work in corporate America, there's still ways to be creative.
Oh, for sure.
Like, no matter what your career is, or where you're at in life, there's opportunities to be creative. And I think everyone has the ability. And I think some of it's just fostering, the ability, recognizing where you're passionate, and then developing those skills. So, when it comes to the more traditional things like painting, I think, we tried to do our workshops in our shop different because recognized, and they're still very popular, but they were really, really popular for a minute there, was the paint and sips and workshops like that are great. Not dogging on them at all, but you'd see the pictures and it was so much of it was like everyone doing the exact same picture and trying so hard to reproduce what that artist made. And if you're trying to create someone else's art, you're never going to measure up. Like, never. You're not them.
And I will say, I've always kind of had my thoughts on those type of workshops. But I will say in time, I have softened in the sense that is, for some people, that is a jumping off point.
Yeah.
That they don't know where to start.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and I think that's the heart behind
For sure.
those artists that do those types of workshops. Because I didn't like them, and I never really went to them because I just thought,
well, it's just cookie cutter.
I was just kind of snotty about it. Yeah, it's just cookie cutter. And, but, you know, seeing firsthand, you know, women that were unsure about being able to create the picture. And like, as she guided through, okay, you do this, and
This
you do
is how
this,
you create
and
that.
it doesn't always make sense, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but then it comes together. But then seeing those women go, okay, I don't want to really do the flowers that way, or I don't want to really I want to add this into it.
Mm-hmm.
So I will say, I have softened my position that there is a place for those, because some people just,
they need that little
I get overwhelmed.
Courage, yeah.
Like I got overwhelmed in my own workshops that I was running. If I sat down to do it, it was like, I don't even know, because there's so many possibilities. Right. So
yeah, and I think I've done a few of them, like with my daughters and with some friends, and I agree. I think it's a really fun opportunity to learn new skills. We even did one this past year, and I got to learn how to make roses, which I'd never learned how to do. So there's like things you can learn, techniques. And I think that what you're seeing now, what I'm seeing, is the women who attended for years now are doing that. They're just running with it. They're going a different direction. And I think that's beautiful, because that should be, and I think that's the goal of a lot of the artists, like you said, is to like build the confidence that you can do this. They were just approaching it a little bit different of a way than we did. And we really worked hard to just encourage people to just start with anything, like just not to be afraid. And like we would, like, I advise you along the way, but it was whatever your heart wanted to make in that. And so I think that, you know, when it comes to more traditional things like painting, I'm not the best painter. I mean, can I flip a piece of furniture? Yeah, but I'm not the best furniture flipper either.
Yeah, I would not consider myself an artist.
Yeah,
when I've seen what artists do to pieces of furniture.
Yeah. You know, so it's like, I can paint. I'm not, I mean, you know, we had a friend who did rock painting with us, and amazing. Like the things she would paint on those rocks, it was just like, oh my gosh, stunning. And mine's like kind of a blob, you know, like this is supposed to be a flower. This is supposed to be, you know, but then I worked really hard on building the skill of hand lettering, and I've gotten a lot better. Still wouldn't say I'm the best, but I think when you find something that you enjoy doing, you can work at developing the skill, and there's tons of resources. For me, it was off of, it was a gal on Instagram. I went on her Etsy and got like a book, and it was just like learning to write your letters, but learning to do all the swoops and the floops and the flippity flops. So there's tons of resources if you want to develop a certain skill, but I think it's finding what's your medium, what's your outlet, which, you know, we kind of mentioned, like you have things like painting, drawing, singing or music, writing, you know, creative writing, you know, like poetry or stories, or, but there's other ways. So, I mean, like even, you know, I've got a bookshelf, and it's like things like, you know, creating little moments, little displays. That's an expression of creativity, in what you use, what you curate for your home.
How you dress,
how you do your makeup, all expressions of creativity. Your landscaping, like, I mean, just there's so many, cooking and baking, even, you know, moving into the more digital, like your graphic design, you know, creating images, creating videos. And that was something for us. So, you know, moving away from owning a shop, and before that, it was like flipping furniture, and we're doing a ton of creative stuff all the time. And then owning the shop, you actually did less creative stuff because it was more shop running.
Yeah. But still the creative side of creating the vignettes and the displays. I mean,
there's still creativity flowing.
That was my favorite part.
Yeah. And then moving to this season, it's like we kind of found like, what's a new outlet for us? And, you know, this is another one, just having the opportunity to create something that hopefully, you know, connects. Because I think that's the goal of anytime we're creating art of any expression, whether it be beautiful spaces to be in, whether it be beautiful things to look at, little rocks to hide around town and brighten someone's day. It's meant to speak to someone else. And so,
be a connection point.
Yeah, and be a connection point. And that's kind of our goal with this creative outlet, is to be a connection point to someone else.
For sure.
Good time to stay up, right? When I'm like, I could use a little more fuel. So, do you have any other, like, standout thoughts on being creative? I think one thing I encourage is just starting. You know, a lot of times with the like workshops we did, it was like, just start with a color.
And I think, you know, for me, one of the things I've always been able to, I can draw in my head. Like I can picture all I can do it in my head, but not translating it. And I, sometimes would just doodle a little bit. So there's like there's no pressure. Yeah. It's just a piece of scrap paper, and, and started doodling different things and kind of taught myself to do a few things. And I was like, oh, well, that's like kind of pretty. Like somewhere maybe, I don't know, I may not still have it, but I had done a little, it was like a little sprig, a little bouquet of lavender kind of just laying on its side. And like, I just started doodling, and I was like, hey, I kind of like that. And I remember sitting in the hospital with, it was back when Dad had his heart attack in 2020, and sitting in the hospital there. And I was doodling pumpkins because I was thinking about, okay, it's like fall and, things to do back at the shop. And so I was doodling pumpkins, and I remember, one of the nurses coming through, and they're like, how do you do that? And I'm like, I don't know.
I will be right back.
Yeah, not being afraid. Could you take a peek out there?
Yeah, I'll peek at your cat too while I'm doing it.
Yeah, so I left Romeo, my kitty cat, outside. He seemed like he was doing great, and so I left him out there. But sometimes
he's good.
He starts meowing, and you realize he's gotten himself into a little bit of a pickle, or there's another cat.
He got hooked up on my table yesterday and like scared himself and started dragging it and scared himself more, and it was a lot of trauma. So on a subject of pumpkins, I'm going to brag, because even my mother-in-law the other night was talking about how beautiful this pumpkin she made, guys. And this wouldn't happen. It's not like she just, I'm going to be honest, she wasn't a natural born artist.
No. It's
like these comes from just doodling.
Yeah, it started with just
playing around, and then just playing around paint. And like this one's like the shading, and it's just phenomenal. And there's other ones that didn't turn out as good. Like, so don't have that pressure to be perfect.
Yeah.
Because,
and again, I think some of that is key, at least for me, the way my brain works. I'm okay with it being imperfect, because my consolation is there's no perfect pumpkins. Like,
it's true. When you
choose a subject that, like, it doesn't have to be, because some of them are warty, some of them are lopsided, some of them are, so choosing something that perhaps doesn't need to be perfect, like, trying to draw your child's face or something.
A little more pressure.
And then that gives you, it's true with anything in life. The more you do it, mistakes and all, and then instead of beating yourself up for what you perceive as your mistakes, I know how I could do that better next time. But it gives you the
experience.
Courage is the word, but confidence. The confidence to go again. Yeah. So I think that's the key, like you said, is just starting.
Yeah.
and start in a really no pressure, like doodling, or and that's just in the example of drawing.
Yeah, that would just be drawing.
If you have a passion for cooking and you really want to try things out of the box, try it out on the people you feel safe with. That they're going to give you honest feedback without beating you up for it.
Yeah,
kind. Honest.
Worst case scenario, it doesn't turn out good.
Exactly.
And it's not the end of the world.
You lost a few ingredients. That's that's life.
I also was thinking about, the train is leaving the station, guys, without me. I gotta try to catch up. Just starting. So, honesty here with myself, because I do struggle with the desire for perfectionism, which I know many do. I've wanted to crochet for probably 15 years now, probably more than 15 years now. And I've learned a little bit. I can make scarves, and scarves. I could make a blanket if I could focus long enough to finish a blanket. I've started so many. And my sister-in-law, she crochets, but she crochets, amigurumi. So like the little animals and stuff. Actually, I don't know what it's totally, because it's not all little. And I think that's just like the micro, tiny. Okay. But anyway, she does like stuffed animals, all kinds of cute things like that. And
really cute stuff.
Yeah. And she picked it up. And of course, she watches videos and just goes to town. And I taught her first stitch. And then she, like a week later, vastly exceeded my knowledge. But it's funny because she'll try to get me to crochet with her. And I think I finished like 2 projects, because I will get partway through and be like, I don't like what's happening here. And I'll just, before she can say anything, I'll just start ripping, like pulling the stitches back out. Cause I'm like, I'll just restart. And so I never actually finished. She's like, just finish it. She's like, even if it doesn't turn out perfect, that's fine. Like, just finish it and then it's done.
And you're like, wait, I feel like I've heard that somewhere.
I know. Yeah. But for crochet, for whatever reason, I'm like, I don't know, maybe it's because yarn's more expensive, but I never actually finished the project. I always end up pulling the stitches. But also I'm like, I don't know what I do with 900 crocheted things. So it kind of works out. I just get a practice.
But you brought up a valid point there too, in that you had a passion, I guess. I mean, at least a spark that you wanted to learn, a desire to learn. And, in doing so, you shared that with her and she ran with it. And, you think that in and of itself is an outlet of creativity when you can share. It's like the workshops we ran at the shop. It's like, I struggled sometimes, to do it. I mean, I can do the techniques and things, but I feel like everybody there like outshined anything I could do. But that's still creative, right? Because you're sharing that with someone else.
Yeah. I think on that too, it really touches on, like you're saying, everyone there is so much better. You're like, we're all our own worst critics.
Exactly.
So what you look at is, you're like, I see the flaws. Other people don't see those flaws. And so I think trying to keep that in mind too when you're creating is like, even if you don't fully see the beauty, someone else most likely will. There's somebody out there who's going to appreciate the beauty being created. And there's something about just putting beauty out in the world. I think there's so much value to that.
Well, and I mean, isn't that, the age-old thing, the student exceeding the master, so to speak. You want your kids to do better than you in life. You want kind of delving off into a little rabbit trail, but same thing. You want to, it's like you say, okay, this is the project here. Yeah. And then they do something like way out of the box, outside of the parameter of anything you were thinking.
Picturing, yeah.
And you're like, oh, I wouldn't have thought. I didn't think to do that. Yeah. That's a really great idea.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I think that, all it comes around is, I think that don't be afraid to try something new. don't be afraid to be creative, but also be open to what creativity looks like to you, because it's not going to be the same for everybody. And some people find one passion. I would call myself more of a jack of all passions, but like I like doing it in a lot of different ways, but nothing all the time and nothing mastered. So I think don't be afraid to try. Don't be closed-minded to all the different facets of creativity, and then just find your passion and just start running with it. Because there's so much joy in creating.
Right. It's, you know, like you said, we're born with that inside of us. And I think that when we deny that side of our being, like there's a hole in our life and in those around us, because we all have something to offer up to the world and to the, you know, the world that's around our circle for sure, if not the world at large. So
yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any other thoughts I had bouncing around in my head. I didn't sleep well. I woke up at like 3:50 and was up for an hour. I couldn't fall asleep, so my brain's a little struggling today.
I feel like I was struggling with insomnia for a while, which, you know, like I've never, like, I don't know, I'm not a label person. And so I didn't even label it that. It would just be like, oh, I don't know, I couldn't sleep last night. And then I realized, okay, this is like a common thing, which I incidentally was reading. It's like your sleep, when you're going through grief, that sleep patterns can change, and they have. But I feel like now I'm starting to turn into an old person. I went to bed at 9:00 last night, and I fell asleep like
right away.
And then I woke up at 5, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like my grandpa or something. I don't know if that's just, you know, this time change is like I feel like everything shifted for me right about the time shifted. And so I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I don't really have an explanation for it.
I'm still struggling. I am not a morning person. I've tried so many times to be a morning person, but it's just, I'm not, and I need to be. The world is just so much more, like when I get up early consistently, like you get so much done before noon and you just feel amazing and like on top of the world. And so I did it one day.
Yay.
One day in.
Yay, you.
But it's so hard.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Most of my life, I would say I was a morning person. I was a stretched thin person for many years because I was a morning person, but also trying to live, you know, a night person's life. And so, and then I've just been kind of all over the place, but I feel like I'm starting to settle back into morning person.
Nice.
I'm like, it's 9:00. It's past my bedtime.
I'm old. I'm tired.
We'll see. And then next week could bring something totally different.
Yes. We'll have to check it again next week.
The joy of the journey.
Yep. So, yeah, it's been good chatting with you guys.
Absolutely.
We're looking forward to, like I said, we have to get to a certain number of like watched hours and I don't remember what it was, or 50 subscribers to be able to go live. So we're building up to that, and we're looking forward to where it can be an interactive conversation. But we look forward to seeing your comments. And like and subscribe if you want to see more.
Absolutely.
Have a beautiful day, friends.
Bye, friends.